Hey y'all, and welcome to another day of VEDA. Today is April 22nd, and today I thought I'd go over about 10 more CALS that are going on right now that you may want to get involved with. And again, this will be a lot like yesterday's episode, except for a lot of these will be some shorter run CALS, since a lot of my year-long ones were in yesterday's, although there are some that are year-long in this as well. So up first, we have the Yarn to Table podcast, and this has the Fiber Quest. And I've talked about this one a lot since this is what I've done the Land of Camelids, and I'm trying to do the Land of Goats project for. I still need to finish my husband's socks so that I can enter those into the Land of Goats. But I do have plans already for the Land of Plants and Silk and the rest, I guess, of the year. So each section has its own FO thread, but I did link to just the informational section that will give you a little info for, I guess, the whole year running for this fun little KAL. It is a knit-along, but she is also accepting crochet. I did not ask her if I could count my spinning things, so we'll just count it as a crochet or knit-along. Another CAL, this is a make-along that is going on right now, is in the Yarn Hoarder podcast group. And I actually somehow missed her talking about this. Maybe I've missed her most recent episode, but she has started doing a shawl along. And like I said, this is a make-along, so it can be knit, crocheted. I assume you could weave or sew, because she kind of has everything listed there, so that would be one that's just kind of inclusive of everything. She's also doing like a dishcloth along, although this is not for prizes, but at the same time it is for prizes on Instagram, so I don't know why she says that. But her goal is to make 52 washcloths during the year so that she will have gifts for Christmas to give away. And so that would be a nice one to pair with like the Anna Knitter podcast group treasure chest along that I mentioned yesterday, since it is gift related and dishcloths are a nice easy way to, satisfy those things. And then she also has the Free All the House Elves sock along, which is to crochet or knit socks, and to post those pictures. That is a year-long along. Another one is in the Tiny Human Knits podcast. This is, I believe, she is one of my Canadian podcasters. I won't promise that, but I'm pretty sure that she is Canadian, and she has recently moved, if I'm thinking of the right podcaster. And she is doing a make from stash along. So this is, again, it can be crochet, knit. I think it can also be other crafts as long as you are using up your materials. I think I read, because I did go into these to get some basic information, because these ones I know a lot less about off the top of my head. But I think this one was listed as a 6-month along, and it did start in January. So as far as I know, it goes through the month of June, but I'm not 100% if she will extend this or not. And so the only rules for that one is that you need to make from stash, and your stash needs to be from before, I think it was January 4th, so I would assume it ends on July 4th. But again, I'm not 100% on that. Then another one is from a newer podcaster. I think she started up this year as she was part of another podcast, but then she was working in a yarn store, and then she had to leave the yarn store for personal reasons, and so she started her own podcast, and that is the Coffee and Craft podcast. And she is doing this spring sock yarn stash down. Yes, lots of S's in that, and the only restrictions in that is that it is for fingering weight yarn. So you don't have to make socks, but that is, I think she also has a sock thing going on for the month of April, but of course we're almost done with April, so if you can whip out a pair of socks in the month of April still, go for it. Another one going on is for the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast, and this is the Knitted Knockers CAL. And for this one, you are making Knitty Knockers, which is an organization that makes breast prosthetics for women that are either knitted or crocheted. They do have crocheted options, although they do have a very limited amount of yarns that you are able to use. Most are cottons. There are some acrylic cotton, and then there are some, I guess, purely acrylic. I didn't realize there was purely acrylic in there. But I think when I was researching a different yarn later, then I found out one of those yarns and that it was 100% acrylic yarn. So then I understood what she meant when she said it could be a mix, because the acrylic ones are used for swimming use only, whereas the cotton or cotton acrylic can be used for like everyday wear. And I have participated in that one. I had my one pair up, and I still need to check to see if that store in the other town is a drop-off location. I had left a message on their Ravelry group because at least a couple of years ago they were a drop-off location, and they have a thing up in the store, so I assume they are still a drop-off location. But, you know, there was a group of people in there when we visited the store, and so it wasn't exactly, I felt odd just going into conversation, so. But anyways, yeah, I have done my participation for that, and I hopefully will make some more throughout the year. Then another one is the Lupin About podcast group, and they are doing a CAL that is this year's tops. I did ask if crochet was accepted in this one, and yes, it is. And this is, they have a couple different things for bonus entries involving, like, each quarter they're trying to focus on different sweaters. So if you crochet, or, well, they're going to have knit. But if you knit one of the patterns that they're doing, you can get extra entries. Or if you use yarn from the same dyer or something like that. Or I'm pretty sure one of them is using a commercial yarn for this month or this quarter. So they just have some other little fun things that you can make from, or I guess maybe it was you can make anything from that designer, so it didn't have to be a top. I don't remember exactly because I'm doing crochet, so my options are a lot more limited into the fact that anything I enter will be tops. And, you know, your sweaters and cardigans also go in for that. And then we come up to it, the Bling Your String, and this one has Crafty Bingo going on. And for that, it's a totally self-motivation thing, and you sign up in the thread, and she will send you a empty bingo card through a Google Doc, and then you will go and fill in that Google Doc and, you know, fill up your sections throughout the whole year. So you do want to space it out. You don't want to make just tiny itty-bitty goals that you can, you know, knock out in a week or in a month or something. You want big goals so that you have something to strive through for the rest of the year. A lot of mine had to do with my Fiber Quest goals, so I had different spinnings, and then I had the different spins because I was doing them on the drop spindle, which is going to take a lot longer, and then now I have my electric eel wheel, which I hadn't planned on, so that will probably change up my card. When we get to June, I think she's going to allow us to shuffle the cards, but right now we're not supposed to shuffle the cards. And so I think I might have approximately half this card done, maybe not quite that much. I know I had put some of the baby blankets were on there, and I have finished those. And I'm currently working on a sweater for Jeremy, which was on there. I think I might have something about making something for each boy. I don't know if I was very specific with the things that I had put onto my card for the boys. But I know I had put each of them on there. And I had something like buy an indie dyed skein yarn, which I have done that. And yeah, so I have some things that I have done and some other things that I haven't. But my goal was to kind of stretch it out through the whole year, so I might change some things up to make room for some other things now that I do have like the wheel, because at least half of my card was probably spinning projects that I planned on were going to take me the entire, year to actually get to, and with my new wheel, it won't take me quite as long to get to all that stuff. Then we come to another one that isn't your typical CAL. Then we have come to Down the Hobbit Hole, and oh, maybe this is the one that was moving, or maybe this is the Canadian one. I can't keep all my podcasters straight. I started listening to Down the Hobbit Hole and Tiny Human Knits about the same time, so now I'm trying to remember which one is which. So Down the Hobbit Hole has Year of the Batt, so she is more of a spinning related group, and for her along, it's to pretty much to play with new fibers. I actually have another one that is very similar to this, and I don't remember what her group is called. She's like one I just started listening to within the last week, who is also a spinner. So there was another spin-along group that was kind of investigating new things, but I think the Down the Hobbit Hole was for anything you spin. It didn't have to be specific to new things, and you just needed to do things as you finish them off, and single plies were only accepted if they weren't later going to be spun into something else, and so you can count your whips from other months so that you are entering things when you finish the entire thing and not just when you finish the plies, because for those that don't understand what I'm talking about, when you are spinning, you spin the separate fiber or the separate ply, so each strand you would spin that, and then you would take all your strands and then spin all those together. So you would need, the typical ply would be a 2 or 3 ply when spinning, and so you would spin everything separately and then spin those 2 to 3 fibers together. Then the last one that I have put on today's is from the Knitting Unicorn. Wow, for some reason I can't say that one. And this is actually one that I, again, have just probably started listening to within the last week. She is doing the Spring Unicorn CAL, and this is to do anything that is unicorn inspired, and I did ask, and Crochet was also accepted. Again, so far I've only come across one group that is very snobberish with their excluding Crochet from their knitting community. But anyways, so the Knitting Unicorn is accepting, and I wanted to mention this one because I'm not sure if I'll get another one of these current CALs going on videos up. And this one, if you're going to participate in the Cakewalk CAL, which is the CAL that I am hosting with Ella from No Catchy Name, and there is a mandala cake that is unicorn. I think actually one of the new baby mandala cakes might be something like Unicorn Cloud or something too. But I know there was in the original colors unicorn, so that would be a great way to get into her CAL and then me and Ella's CAL as well. So that would make your nice triple dip. And a lot of these other ones, like if you did it in a shawl, there's another group that I mentioned today. I think that was Yarn Hoarder, that you could also get into. So just a lot of double dipping that you can do if you just get creative. But anyways, guys, I really need to get this uploaded. If you can tell, I am recording this like after 10 p.m. and so I might be a little softer just because everyone else is asleep in the house, or at least I hope the boys are asleep. And I'm trying not to disturb my husband, who probably is wondering what I am doing. Maybe he thinks I'm listening to a video or something. But he usually has headphones on, so I'm probably not disturbing him too much. But anyways, guys, we'll talk to you later.